Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm doing my March wrap up. So I read a total of 32 books in March. 7 of them were physical books and the rest were ebooks. So because I read so many books in March, I'm going to keep this intro short and we're just going to get started. I'm also not going to go super into detail about each book just because I read so many. The first book I read in March was Wanting Mr. Kane by Shanorna Williams, I think is how you say her name. I binged the entire trilogy, so I read the first book, Wanting Mr. Kane, which I gave 4 stars. Breaking Mr. Kane, which is book 2, which I gave 3 stars. Loving Mr. Kane is book 3, which I also gave 3 stars. And then there's like a short novella, which is Being Mrs. Kane. It's like the 3.5, which I gave 4 stars. I actually really did enjoy this series, but there was just so much drama. And it was very addicting to read, but it just like had so much drama that like, I don't know, I don't necessarily want my romance books to have like drama after drama after drama and like exaggerated drama. You know what I mean? Which is what these books were. Like they had so much drama. How many times did I say drama? This follows Candy, who has been in love with Mr. Kane, who is her father's like best friend, and so she's been in love with him like ever since she was little. The first book you see like how they met and everything and like the slow friendship, and then you see them like become more, I guess. So this does have an age gap. It's like that's the whole plot of it, is like he is an older man and she's like 18, 19, and it's them hiding their relationship from her dad. I'm not explaining it very well, but I really did enjoy it. Even though I didn't give book 2 and book 3 the highest rating, I still really enjoyed this series and I thought it was really fun and just over the top. Then I read Waiting for Willa by Kristen Proby. This is book 3 in the Big Sky series, and this follows Willa and Max and their story. They were childhood sweethearts and she wanted to like stay in their small town and get married and have a bunch of kids, and he didn't really envision that. He kind of wanted to run away, and so they broke up after high school. They both went their separate ways. And now Willa is a single mother and Max is back in town, and they slowly start to fall in love, but there are other things kind of in the way. And I thought it was really cute. I gave it 4 stars. I really liked the characters. I liked the romance. I liked how it was like a second chance romance. Then I finally read Immortal Reign by Morgan Rhodes. This was part of my TBR jar pick for January and February and March. I finally read this and I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. I'm so happy I finally finished this series. I loved this series back in the day. It was a great conclusion to the series, but as we all know, I'm kind of over YA. No, I'm not really over YA. I am over fantasy. I don't really read fantasy. I don't ever feel the need to pick it up. I just don't like fantasy that much anymore. I don't know, it was great to finish this series finally, because obviously I've been meaning to read this since it came out. So I'm happy I finished it. I thought it was a fantastic conclusion. I just didn't love it that much. I think if I would have reread all of the books before I read this, or I would have read it closer to when I read the last book, like I would have just probably loved it a lot more, but I'm so disconnected from the series that I didn't feel like giving it a 4, just because like, I don't know, I felt like there wasn't as much love for the series as I used to have. But I love the way it ended, and it was nice to see all of the characters have their happy ending. Then I read One Tiny Lie by K.A. Tucker. This is book 2 in the 10 Tiny Breaths series, and this I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it, but Ashton annoyed the crap out of me. Like, I liked this book, but I was annoyed with him just because he was so annoying. But this follows Livy, who is Casey's sister in the first book. And so this follows Livy, who is off to college, and she has like never dated. She's always focused on school, and so being in college is like a new experience for her. She just wants to focus on school, but there's this mysterious, interesting guy named Ashton who is all kinds of bad for her, and she is just so intrigued by him, and she just starts falling for him, and he has so many secrets, and there's drama, and I really did enjoy this. Side note, this did remind me of After a little bit. Like, Ashton reminded me of Hardin, and Livia reminded me of Tessa, which is so weird, but it kind of did while I was reading this. I was like, this reminds me of After a little bit. But anyways, I really, really liked this. And then I went ahead and read 4 Seconds to Lose, which is book 3 in the 10 Tiny Breaths series. This follows Kane's story, he is like the owner of the stripper club, Penny's. He is just like the kindest soul ever. Like, he just wants to help women and like save them. And one day this chick named Charlie walks into the stripper club wanting a job, and he is very hesitant to give her a job, gives her the job anyways, and they are both very attracted to each other. But Kane has a strict rule of not fooling around with any of the strippers at his club. That's a no-go for him. But he is very, very tempted by Charlie, and Charlie's hiding stuff. It's a very, very good. I really, really liked it. I think this is my 3rd favorite in the series. Honestly, I think One Tiny Lie is my favorite. 5 Ways to Fall is my 2nd favorite. Then this one, and then probably 10 Tiny Breaths. Because I highly recommend this if you want. I recommend this entire series if you want like a heavier, emotional-ish romance. Then I read Make Me Bad by R.S. Gray. This is her newest standalone, and this follows Ben, who is this rich, popular guy in this small town, and he is kind of this bad boy known to causing a lot of trouble. And then we have Madison, who is this goody two-shoes who literally works at a library, and she's the daughter of the police chief in the town. One night, Maddie and Ben meet and like have an interaction, and he is so intrigued by her that he just can't stop thinking about her, and she literally asks him to help her become more rebellious, and it's super cute. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. Definitely one of R.S. Gray's best. I really liked it. Then I read The Protector by Jodi Ellen Lopez. I reread this for my Passionflix review because it is a Passionflix original adaptation. And so I reread this, then watched the adaptation, then reviewed it all. I'll link that video down below. I gave the book 4 stars. I enjoyed it more the first time I read this than the second time. I was just not really in the mood to reread this, and I just wanted to watch the adaptation. So I didn't love it that much the second time around. But this follows Camille, who is the daughter of a very successful businessman, and she is trying to kind of get her own life started with like her fashion brand and all of that. And there has been a recent threat on her life associated like with her dad. Like, one of his enemies is threatening Camille's life, and so her dad hires her a bodyguard, and she immediately does not like her bodyguard, and things happen. It's not my favorite by Jodi Ellen Lopez, by the way, but I still do think it's a solid romance. And then I marathoned a really long series, and that is the Russian Guns series by Bethany Chris. So the first book is The Arrangement, which I gave 3 stars. And then the second book is The Life, which I also gave 3 stars. And book 3 is The Score, which I gave 3 stars. And these first 3 books in the series follow Viviana and Anton, who have an arranged marriage. It's a mafia romance, by the way. And Viviana's family is brutally murdered, and she is the only one surviving. And she feels as though the arrangement is now not possible just because her family's dead and she just thinks it's not going to happen. Anton is now more set on marrying Viviana because she is now being threatened by her uncle. It's super good. I really, really liked it. Even though I gave the books 3 stars, I think I gave them 3 stars because of the writing style. I wasn't really sold on the way the story was told. I really liked the characters. I liked the romance, but I didn't really like how it was told. And so that made it hard for me to like get into the book and keep reading. I gave all of the books 3 stars. So book 4, Damien and Anna, which is about their kids. So is Shattered, which is book 5, and the Jersey Vignettes, which is book 5.5. Those I also gave 3 stars, and they follow Viviana and Anton's kids. Then I read Lucien by Bethany Chris. This is book 1 in the Filthy Marcellos trilogy, and this I gave 3 stars. This is another mafia book. This follows Lucien, who is the middle child, and he is caught up in some business with this motorcycle club, and he sees Jordan at this club and he sees her being treated like horribly, and he decides one night to just find out information about her, and he kind of tries to check up on her, and one day he goes to her apartment and she is literally almost beaten to death, and so he decides to rescue her, and it's their romance. It was a solid mafia romance, but it wasn't amazing, but I still really enjoyed it. Then I read Thick by Alexa Riley, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. Then I read 5 Ways to Fall by Kate Tucker, which is the 4th and final book in the 10 Tiny Breaths series, and this I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I think, yeah, this is my second favorite in the series, I would say. This follows Ben, who is like the security guard slash bodyguard at the club, but he's also putting himself through law school. And so this is about him, and he's graduated and he's now working at a firm. Before like he starts his job, he goes on a vacation to Cancun. He has this really memorable almost one night stand with this woman, and then she disappears and they never see each other again until he goes to his work and he learns that she is the daughter of his boss. I just really, really liked it. I liked Ben. I feel like at first I didn't like him, but he definitely grew on me. I think he grew on me more when you got to see like his family life. And yeah, I really, really liked this. I liked him. I liked Reese. I liked the romance. I just thought it was such a great romance. I really, really loved it. Then I read Dante by Bethany Chris, which is book 3 in the Filthy Marcellos series, and I didn't read book 2 because I really didn't have an interest in reading about Gio. I just didn't really care to read his story, so I went ahead and skipped that one, and I wanted to read about Dante and his romance, and I really liked this. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. So this follows Dante, who basically has to get married. He is about to take over for his father, and he can't be a mob boss without being like married and taken seriously and all of that. So he is struggling with that until one day this woman named Katrina takes him by surprise, and she turns out to be basically an enemy. She's messing with the drug trafficking that's happening, and she offers to be his wife basically. I really enjoyed it. I loved the characters. They were both very different, and yeah, I thought it was again a solid mafia romance. Then I read Tattered by Devney Perry, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Really liked this. This follows Thea and Logan, who had a one-night stand, and they both like went their separate ways. She ended up getting pregnant and she couldn't find him anywhere. Like she really tried to find him and let him know, but she couldn't. And so 6 years later, he shows up in the town that she lives in, and he's trying to do like this business thing, and they run into each other, and he finally finds out that he has a daughter who is 6 years old, and it's about them co-parenting and also falling in love. And I just really liked it. I thought it was a great romance, and I loved the characters. Sorry if I'm at a weird angle or whatever, it's because I had to change my memory card. So yes, Logan did get on my nerves a little bit just because he like couldn't see what Thea actually like wanted, or like what was best for his daughter, like because he wanted to move. I don't know how he thought that was like the best thing. Anyways, other than that, I really loved this. It was a solid romance, really good. Then I read book 2, which is Timid, and this follows Willa and Jackson. Willa has been in love with Jackson for like ever, and he has never noticed her until one night. They have a moment in the park, and Willa feels like he finally notices her, except the next day he doesn't remember. But Willa feels familiar to him for some reason, and he's trying to figure out why. Willa is kind of tired of waiting for him, so she basically decides that it's kind of over, and he is just trying to get his chance with her, and she finally gives in, and they slowly start a relationship. It was cute. I gave it 3 stars. I feel like honestly I should bump it up to 4 because I did really like it. I was just so annoyed how it was like back and forth, but I did really like the romance and the characters. Then I read Violent Delights by Jessica Hawkins. This is like a new mafia cartel romance, and this I gave 2 out of 5 stars. I just didn't really like any of the characters, and I didn't like the storyline. I couldn't care less about the storyline. Like, I don't know why. It just didn't interest me. I didn't care about it. There was a little bit too much politics. Does that make sense? Like, it just felt like there was too many things happening. I don't know, I feel like I didn't like the way it was told either. So it follows a mafia princess who has kind of gone away for college, and now she's back home, and she wants to marry her best friend Diego, who is like her best friend, her first love. She wants to get married to him, but her father won't really allow it. And in comes Cristiano, who is Diego's older brother, who is very mysterious, dark, kind of scary. I don't know, I just didn't really like the writing or the storytelling. The characters were all right, but I hated Diego. I just hated him. Like, there was no point to him. Like, I know it's just to cause conflict between 2 brothers. Or, I don't know, there was just something about it I didn't really love. But I kind of want to read book 2 because of that ending. But I also feel like I'm probably just going to waste my time. I don't know, it just wasn't for me. Then I read Tinsel, which is book 4 in the Larkove series by Devney Perry. I didn't read book 3. I didn't have an interest in book 3, so I just skipped it. But I really wanted to read book 4 because this follows Sophia, who is Logan's younger sister. Okay, if I'm at another weird angle again, I had to charge my camera. So I probably look a little different. I had to wait like a couple hours to let my camera charge. Anyways, okay, back to my wrap up. So yes, Tinsel follows Sophia, who is Logan's younger sister, and in Tattered we see her as like this really spoiled, mean, rich girl, and in Tinsel she is a little bit older, and she's just trying to find her way. She's trying to find what she's passionate about in life. So she decides to have a vacation and go to the town that Logan lives in. Is that Larkove? Is that the town's name? I forget what it's called. A bad magazine interview. She's feeling very ashamed of herself. So she goes on vacation, and she basically works at Thea's bar, and she there meets Dakota, who is the bartender, and he's helping her learn stuff about the bar. They fall in love, and it's super cute. I really, really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. It's definitely my favorite out of the 3 that I read. I just really loved Dakota and Sophia. I just really loved their romance. I loved them as characters. One aspect that I really liked about this book, which is kind of weird that it just like sticks with me, but it's the whole like naming ceremony. So Dakota is Native American and he grew up on a reserve, and he like leaves the reserve to like pursue his own life. And so like he goes back once in a while to visit his family, and his sister has a baby, and like they have this naming ceremony where like they introduce the baby to each family member, and a family member can give that baby like a wish or like their first words. And I just thought that was so beautiful and unique, and I really loved that. I don't know why that stuck with me, but it just did. I thought it was so beautiful. Yeah, I love this story. I loved Sophia's development as a character and her growth and her finding her passion and also falling in love, and I really loved this book. Then I read The Bad Guy by Celia Aaron, and this I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked this. This is like a dark romance, and it follows like a sociopath slash like psycho. Like, it is so interesting. I really liked it. So this follows Sebastian, who is basically a sociopath. Like, he doesn't really have empathy for people. Like, he doesn't really have feelings, but he also kind of does. So I guess it's more like just a psycho, I guess. So he meets our female character Camille at this like event party thing, and he begins immediately obsessing over her, and their paths cross every once in a while, and he is just obsessed with her, and he decides to kidnap her one day. And it is so good. If you love dark romances, I highly recommend this. This was so different to anything I've ever read. Just super unique. I really enjoyed it. I just thought it was a fantastic dark romance. Then I went ahead and read Dark Protector by Celia Aaron, and this one I also gave 4 stars, but it's more like a 3.5. I didn't like it as much as The Bad Guy, but I still did enjoy it. And this follows Conrad, who is an assassin slash like hitman. Charlie, who seems to be like the complete opposite of him. She is like literal sunshine. She works in this flower shop, and he kind of just watches her every day, and then she witnesses him kill, and then she gets kidnapped by his enemies, and things happen, and it is very action-packed. I still think it's a great dark romance. Yeah, not as good as The Bad Guy, but I still really enjoyed this one. Then I read Bound to You by Alyssa Brandon. This is a YA paranormal romance, and this follows werewolves. This is about a girl who is part of like a werewolf family. They believe in like soulmates and how like you'll find your perfect mate. And so our female character is literally waiting for the day to find her mate. And on her, I think 18th birthday, finally meets her mate, but he is not at all what she expected. And he is considered not really an enemy, not necessarily the best fit for her in a way. And he is very closed off. He does not want to go through with the whole mating thing just because he has witnessed his dad and his mom have a really rough and sad relationship. And so he is just very withdrawn from it. And it's them just falling in love, but also there's so many things going on. This I gave 3 out of 5 stars, but it's like a 3.5. I really enjoyed this. I feel like if you are like me and you don't really read YA anymore, but you still love the genre and you are just more focused on like romance, I highly recommend this because this has more romance than a plot. It does have a plot and there are things that are happening, but it doesn't overtake the romance. It's pretty short. It was a great paranormal romance. Then I read Professor by Janika Snow. This I gave 2 out of 5 stars. This is a student-teacher romance in college. It was alright. Then I read Sweet Fate by Laura Lynn Page. This is book 2 in the Dirty Sweet duet. And this I gave 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it, but I don't know. I just feel like there wasn't enough. Like, I feel like even the first book, I felt like they were both super short. I feel like I couldn't really connect to any of the characters. I didn't necessarily believe their love that much. Like, I just didn't feel it. The ending was super cute and I loved the ending, but like, I don't know, it's not Laura Lynn's best work. Then I read Salvatore by Natasha Knight, and actually one of you guys recommended this book to me, and I read the synopsis and then I was like, I need to read it now. So I did. And this is a mafia dark romance. So this follows Lucien, who is the daughter of a mobster, and he owes his family something. I forget what it was. He can't fulfill that, so basically he sells his daughter into an arranged marriage with this other family. I did enjoy it, and I gave it 4 stars, but I feel like bringing it down to a 3-star because it's not very memorable. When I finished it, I thought it was really well written. It was really well told. I did like it, but now that I think about it, I'm like, I don't really remember a lot already. I have a really bad memory in general, but I just feel like there was nothing super memorable for me, but it was still really good and I would recommend it. So I don't know, I liked it though. Then I read Kissing Her by Alexa Riley. This I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This was just a cute, smutty read. I liked it. And then the final book I read in March was Dishonorable by Natasha Knight. This is book 1 in the Amato Brothers series. It's another arranged marriage. Kind of had a similar plot to her other book. This one I gave 3 stars. I liked it, but I do feel like it was so similar to her other book that I'm having a hard time separating the two because I read them so close together that I'm like, I can't remember specific details of each. They're just kind of blending together. But I did enjoy this one as well. So those were all the books I read in March. I hope you guys enjoyed my wrap up. I know it was probably super long and I'm so sorry, but I read so many books in March. It's insane. Let me know how many books you guys read in March. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.